Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. This is Christina Johnson. I am the author of The Power of Prophetic Parenting, and I am coming on live today. We are live, 100% live. I'm so stoked and excited and on top, and just God is moving in phenomenal ways that I wanted to reach out to you directly and personally. And it just dawned on me that I could just go live. I don't know if you will see this or view this live, or if you will see it via a recording, or if someone will share it with you. But I am here to tell you that I am so stoked and excited about the pre-sales for The Power of Prophetic Parenting. And I just want to connect with you and give you a little history about the book and about our mission of getting 2,500 parenting books into the hands of 2,500 parents. Now, listen, first and foremost, let me just thank and appreciate everyone who has placed those orders. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate your support. Your alignment and letting me know that the book is resonating with you, those of you who have asked for or who have received copies of the book prior to the actual printing of the book, and that is available. If you are interested in sharing information regarding the power of prophetic parenting, and you can't wait, you just can't wait, and you want to share it with some other folks, give me a call or post it down below. I'll make sure that you get a copy of it, or at least parts and segments of it, so that you can then turn around and share it with others. But I'm elated and excited to share with you today just the journey of this particular book. Listen, if you've read any of my posts up until this point, you may have a little bit of an idea of what my parenting journey entailed, and I'm going to just go through all of that right now. Yes, absolutely. Share this post, because this is going to be a blessing to multiple people, not only parents and grandparents and caregivers. You know, if you're a foster parent or a bonus mom, or mom or dad, or however that works, this book is something that will speak to you. So many of the folks in my generation, our kids are grown. Many of them are our kids are grown. They're gone. They're out of the house, and we may have the disposition of saying, whew, I don't need a parenting book, honey. They are on their own. They will figure it out from here. Well, listen, if you are an aunt, an uncle, a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, if you are a teacher in a school system, if you work with children in any capacity, I just want to just share with you right now that this book is a must-have for you. Now, we know that today is October 31st. October 31st. There are segments of our society that celebrate this day. They go all out in it with the regalia and the dark attire, the witches and the goblins and the what do you call those things, jack-o'-lanterns, and the all the spiritual ramifications and implications of October 31st. And with that being said, this book is key for parents, for caregivers, for teachers, for mentors. If you work with children, it is imperative for you to have this book in your hands. Now, why do I say that? What is the reason? Why do I say that? I'm saying it because within the front cover to the back cover of this particular book, I share tools, techniques, and strategies for engaging children, engaging young people, for raising, for leaving an impression on the hearts and souls and the inner workings of these young minds. In this book, I go into the very first chapter, I believe, is parenting by the pattern. Parenting by the pattern. And listen, let me tell you from a biblical perspective, there is a pattern for parenting. I don't care what you have heard. I don't care who you have heard say, oh, well, there's no parenting manual. That is a lie. Hello, 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 hello. You heard it first here. And so many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of parents have bought into that concept that there is no pattern for parenting. That just is not true. To say that, especially from a biblical worldview, would be to say that God, in his infinite wisdom, gave us as adults an assignment to be fruitful and multiply, knowing that we would one day be parents, and did not provide for us a pattern, a manual, a scripted outline onto how to parent. That he, in all of his righteousness and infinite wisdom, wasn't wise enough, wasn't responsible enough to give parents what they need in order for them to parent effectively. So the very first chapter, and I didn't even know or realize that I was going to go chapter by chapter, and I may skip one or two here and there, but our very first chapter is parenting by the pattern. There is a pattern. I remember years ago here in Southern California, we have a minister, a pastor, by the name of Kenneth Ulmer. And I'm just going to put his name out there because he preached a message that has stayed with me forever. And it was just taken from Exodus when God was giving instruction on how to build the temple. And he gave the pattern of how the curtains needed to be, what they needed to be made of, what color they needed to be, what the altar needed to be made of. All of these details. You cannot tell me that we serve a God that will provide all of these details for the building of a sanctuary, the building of a temple, and not provide parents with the same level and degree of details. Listen, God has given us the details on how to be highly effective as parents. So that first chapter is parenting by the pattern. And Bishop Kenneth Ulmer's message was, when the pattern is right, the glory will fall. I will never forget that message. Now, I never joined his church. I was never a part of his ministry, but I would visit from time to time with friends of mine who attended that particular ministry. And I'm here to tell you, that message has stayed with me, I want to say at least 20, 25 years. When the pattern is right, the glory will fall. So we open this book with the pattern for parenting, parenting by the pattern. So there is a pattern that is available to parents, to grandparents, to caregivers, to foster parents, even to adoptive parents. If you have any influence in the lives of children, there is a pattern available to you, and we go into it in this book. And then one of my other chapters is parenting with power. Parenting with power. Now, you might ask right now, Christina, why is it that you're so fixated on parenting? And let me just give you a little history that's not in the book. And this is not in the book, and I'm going to share it with you right now. I was raised by a mom, and I may have put this in the book, actually. I was raised by a mother who thought she was barren. She was barren. She could not have children. And so as she grew up with her siblings and all, her siblings started getting married, having kids, one child after another, and she was forever the auntie. My mother was forever the auntie, Aunt Vi to all of these kids. But she desired in her heart to have her own child. She desired in her heart to have her own child. Come to find out, after some tests and years, she found out that her tubes were blocked. And so she went and had surgery to unblock her tubes. And then she still didn't get pregnant. She was married and the whole nine. She didn't get pregnant. And then well into her 30s, after years and years of disappointment and crying and just longing and seeking to have her own child, she was blessed with me. Yes, she was blessed with me, and she got pregnant. She didn't know for 4 months that she was even pregnant. It's just a very interesting story that I will share in at length in one of my subsequent books. But I said all that to say that parenting was very important to her. So my daughter and I have this joke regarding me as a parent and how she has benefited from subtext mom, and that's me, and that's all the commentary I give. Like, it's not official commentary, but it's just commentary as life happens. I give all this commentary. Well, my mother was the same way, and 9 times out of 10 her commentary was regarding parenting. And oh my goodness, she also owned a beauty salon, and she was a beautician. So she would have folks come in, and they would come in with their children and what have you, and she would tell me, well, that doesn't make any sense. Do you see what that parent is doing with their child? They're just setting that child up for failure. They're doing it. So I was constantly bombarded with the significance of not only being a parent or having kids, but also being highly effective, and with the responsibility of raising children a certain way. So that was ingrained in me from my childhood. So fast forward to the years that I began having my own children, it was just almost first nature. I don't even want to say second nature. It was first nature for me to be highly focused and intentional on the style of parenting that my children would experience in my household. So that is yet another chapter in our book. It's parenting with style. And if you look up parenting styles, you'll see a litany of styles. It started off with authoritative parenting and authoritarian parenting and permissive parenting and neglectful parenting. You'll see all different types of parenting styles. Well, in this book, I break down those styles of parenting, and then I share with the reader exactly what the benefits and the disadvantages are when a parent chooses a particular style of parenting. Now, listen, let me tell you the reason I am. You might, well, what gives you the right, or how are you an authority on parenting? I am so glad you asked. Tell your friends, run and tell this, run and tell this. Listen, tag and share someone in this video because they need to hear it, even if you don't. They do. I am here because over the last 42 years now, 40 official years before I was an empty nester, but 42 years now, I have been parenting. And let me just say this, that my children were born and raised during the height of the crack cocaine epidemic, the gang epidemic here in the inner cities of Los Angeles. And as a single parent, a young, very young single parent in this city, because of the pattern that I found biblically that was available to me to parent, and then the power of prophetic parenting, which that is all under the chapter of parenting with power, I found and developed and devised and created. I didn't know I was doing this initially, but created a actual parenting style, a style of parenting where other parents can follow the pattern, follow the breadcrumbs, follow the tools and techniques and strategies that I employed with my own children. And that you as a parent or a caregiver, a grandparent or aunt or uncle or a teacher, whoever, can take those same tools, utilize them with your students, with your children, with your grandchildren, and get phenomenal, extraordinary results. So I say it, I share it toward the end of the book. And for the sake of this video, because this video will forever be out here in cyberspace and in the internet universe, let me just go on and say this. Those 40 years, and with the backdrop of the violence, the gang violence, the crack cocaine, folks on corners fiending and looking for rocks, and all of that transpiring, and the boys, my older three, or all three sons, so I was raising sons in this culture and in this environment, the gang banging, the shooting, the killing, the all of that was going on, God graced me, and I give God all the glory for it. He graced me to employ a style of parenting that has produced college graduates who have never gone to jail, uh never spent time in being incarcerated, did not get sucked into the crack environment, did not succumb to the pressures of their peers, the pressures of the streets, the pressures of the culture, because of what was transpiring in the house. I cannot say that loud enough. So I just sense right now that we're a little bit above 16 minutes. And what I will do, I'm going to conclude this within the next couple of minutes and share a little bit more a little bit later. But let me say this to you. As a parent, as a grandparent, as a caregiver, you can create an environment within your household that outshines, overrides what's going on in the streets, that outshines what's over and can override what your peers, your children's peers, are saying and attempting to enforce or impose on your children, on your grandchildren, on your stepkids, on your class, your son. You might be a Sunday school teacher and you have a Sunday school class of children who you're wanting to reach and to impress. Listen, let me tell you, there's a style of parenting that is housed within this book. Let me point that way, there, over there. The Power of Prophetic Parenting. And within these chapters, these nuggets of truth that I personally used are housed in here, and they're broken down. We deal with generational curses. I remember when I first became aware that there was such a thing. It gave me so much understanding, first and foremost, about my own life and my own decisions that I had made at a very young age. It just blew my mind. And then immediately, without opportunity to think about it and really apply those things to myself, I turned around. I look, my kids need to know this, because I wound up succumbing to some dynamics that were directly tied to generational curses, but I had never even heard or been made aware or had been taught or trained about those dynamics. So I made up in my mind, and I determined that my children would not be ignorant of Satan's devices. They would not be ignorant. So I assumed the position of being their teacher and trainer in these areas as I was learning. As certain things were being revealed to me, I turned around and revealed and taught them to my kids so that they could navigate through not only this natural world, but also the spiritual world, which is extremely, extremely powerful. So I'm sharing that with you today. We're approaching about 20 minutes on this live. Take the time to listen, share. Like this. Please leave a comment. Let me know, hey, Christina, I tuned in, I listened. And here's my comment, right on. That's what they used to say in the 60s, right on. Power to the people, amen. I'm dating myself, but let me tell you, I want to hear from you. Some of you, like I said, you actually have a copy of the book. So please leave your comments, post your own comments regarding the book. I know that, again, today being what folks consider as All Saints Night or Halloween, and all the spiritual implications, we are looking to get 2,500 books into the hands of 2,500 parents to empower those parents to raise highly focused, purpose-driven children who are not pressured by society, pressured by the culture, pressured by their peers into being and doing what the culture or society or their peers say, but being independent thinkers and also focused on what their purpose is, what their call is. And any of you who know my 4 children, if you know them, you'll never forget them, because they indeed are focused, they're not impressionable, they know who they are. And they don't always get everything right, of course, just like me and just like you and just like your kids, right? We're all a work in progress because we are trapped in this flesh body and we're stuck in this carnal world. So there are things that we have to develop and grow through. However, the at the core of who they are as individuals, they are focused, they're motivated, they're successful. And people have told me down through the years, oh, you've done such a good job with your children. Oh, you've done such a good job. And it took me years of wrestling with that statement, because I would always say, well, that was God. That was God. And they would say, well, you're the parent. It was you. And I'm like, well, I would have to acknowledge that it was me, but I knew that it was God. And I knew that it was something that God had revealed to me about parenting that was so highly effective. So this book gives God his due, his glory, and as a vessel being used as a parent to influence the next generation, I'm now in turn sharing those nuggets with you. So I've gone over my 20 minutes. I just want to thank you and appreciate you for being here. And listen, get the book, order the book. It's in pre-order. I'll drop the link below. And then let's get these books into the hands of 2,500 parents. Listen, even if it's tomorrow, the day after, purchase the book, because as you do, I am then able to take those proceeds and get this book into juvenile hall, get this book into with parents. Some parents are incarcerated. Get this book into the foster care system. And I can only do that with your support. So I thank you for taking a moment this morning to listen, first of all, to this live broadcast. It'll be available on YouTube as well. I thank you for helping me make it go viral. I thank you also for purchasing the book and helping to get this book into the hands of parents who need it the most. God bless you richly. This is Christina Johnson. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. Until I see you really soon. Bye-bye.